Hi, we're the Solace family, and these are moments from our around the world trip with our two kids. We first started in South America, made our way to North America, and now we're in Asia.
We flew into Colombo, Sri Lanka, drove over to Kandy, and are about to take an epic train ride down the center of the country. Morning! We are here at the Kandy train station trying to buy tickets on the day of to go to Ella. Hopefully all goes well and we can find a spot. Before we came to Sri Lanka, we had heard about how epic the train rides were, winding through the countryside and mountains and tea plantations, but we couldn't quite figure out how to purchase a ticket when we were outside of the country and as non-Sri Lankan citizens. So this meant we had to purchase the ticket when we were there. So we tried every single day when we were in Kandy with the help of our Airbnb host, who's a local, and we were unable to get a ticket. It either said it was full or something like that. So anyways, we get to the last day where we're scheduled to leave Kandy, and we don't know if we're going to be able to get a ticket when we go to the train station. Yay! Update! We got the tickets, only $5 US to ride the train for 5, 6, 7 hours. I don't know how long it is, but it's quite a ways, and $5 seems pretty reasonable. We're looking at Miss Sienna, who has something changed about her mouth. Can you see what it is? Smile. It looks like that tooth is going to come out. And so her gums have changed a little bit. Thankfully, after days of trying, we were able to get a train ticket on this last day when we were headed to Ella. However, we weren't able to actually get a seat. So we're about to board this train and we have no idea what's to happen before us, if it's standing room only or what.
The train, before it makes its way to Kandy, apparently must have a number of stops, and so by the time we got on, it was like pretty much packed.
Capacity, I'd say, yeah.
So we found ourselves with our giant bags, because mind you, we've been traveling for several months at this point, right? With everything that we could pretty much carry. And so we're there with our giant bags in the middle, standing for probably an hour or maybe 90 minutes before we hit a couple of stops. And I think there was this grandma with a couple of her grandkids that took pity on us. Again, if we had just been, I mean, I say us, but I meant, but it was really because of our kids, because we had our kids with us. She let us know, I'm going to be leaving and you can come in and get our little, this little bench. A little booth.
You better be fast was her look, because this train is so full and there's no reserved seats in the car that we were in. So she knows that everybody's going to be scrambling for this open booth.
The real estate was in high demand. So we took the seat and we thoroughly enjoyed the trip. We had the window open, the breeze was coming in.
Something that's really special about Sri Lankan trains are that you can have not only the windows open, but the doors open. If you're brave enough, of course, be careful as adults and especially with kids. But this made the train experience really immersive, and so our kids love just being able to have their heads out the window at times when it was going slow or there was no other trains passing by. Waving, all of that. We just had such a good time really feeling the train ride. about 7 hours winding south, we made it to the mountainside town of Ella, where we were planning to spend the next few days. We made it!
After arriving in Ella, the first order of business was to find a proper meal.
Which, if you know anything about Sri Lankan food, you know it means it's gonna be good. We are at our homestay now and going to walk into town for some dinner. And if you can see all the stairs behind me, it's pretty clear that I won't need to be working out while we're here because this is a workout in itself.
Between Kandy and Ella, Ella seems to have a little bit more of a tourist infrastructure than Kandy. And what I mean by that is that there are more restaurants kind of within one block or a few blocks, and then a lot of those places also take cards. There are souvenir shops and other things you tourists want to do.
We have just a few days to spend here while I also have to work remotely, so we didn't get the full Ella experience, but if you're here, there's lots of mountains and lakes and tea plantations that you can also visit. We reserved most of our time in Ella to see their iconic train trestle, which is called the 9-Arch Bridge.
The 9-Arch Bridge was initially going to be constructed in the early part of the 20th century with steel during British occupation of Sri Lanka. However, World War I happened and they diverted all of their steel to the war effort. But the Sri Lankans said, we're going to finish this job here. So Sri Lankan engineers and designers finished it with brick and mortar.
After arriving by tuk-tuk, we had to climb a short path, or I guess it's a bit of a hike down to the bridge itself. And it's not even, so keep that in mind when you're thinking about footwear or bringing any kind of stroller. Won't cut it. We're almost to the train tracks. It has been very steep, but I'm fairly confident if I can do it in sandals, not the best foot choice, but it's what I have, and a 40-pound baby on my back, you can do it too. Train tracks.
Papa, dear Papa. Dear Papa.
We got off the tracks just in time because the train's coming. our hike, we headed back to our Airbnb to get packed up because early in the morning we were heading to the southern coast. Our next stop takes us to Unawatuna, which is probably the funnest name to say ever.